finances, your search stops right here. Join Mukonki Mukonkela from Insight Partners Africa every Tuesdays at 0720 hours on the Dalama Insights Business Show, a program that gives you the best and most practical, actionable insights.
That is good morning and welcome to the Indalama Insights radio show. And of course, I'm Leslie Sinyango. Joining with me today is our financial consultant, Mokonki Mukonkela. Mokonki, it's a good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Leslie. How have you been?
Not too bad at all. How are you?
I'm good, surviving. Good morning, listeners.
That's what's remaining right now. It's all about surviving.
Yeah.
And prospering too.
Prospering.
Life should be about prospering, not just surviving, but also prospering, living. In other words.
Let's see how opening a brokerage account will help us to prosper.
Yep. Now today we are diving into a foundational investing concept. That's brokers and brokerage accounts. But before we get into what a brokerage account, can we understand what a broker is, or what does a broker do?
Thank you, Leslie. So today's topic is very foundational. It's meant to establish the fact that before you can trade in stocks and bonds, you will need to open a brokerage account. A broker is simply a middleman that facilitates transactions between buyers and sellers. You can think of it in terms of real estate. So we normally look for agents if you're looking for a property to buy or to rent. Sometimes we find agents that help us find that property, and then we buy the property that we're interested in. It's a similar way in which brokers work. They help you to find transactions in investments, and then they facilitate the deal. So they help you to buy or sell whatever transaction you're interested in, either bonds or shares, even unit trusts. So that is what they do. They simply are facilitators or middlemen that help to facilitate transactions. And I must tell you, Leslie, that if you are interested in buying shares, maybe in a company listed on the LUCE, you don't just call them. You don't just call Copper Belt Energy and say, may I please buy some shares in your company? We have to pass through the broker. And that is what the broker's role is.
Now, I'm guessing these brokers don't work for free. How are they compensated?
That's a nice question. So they charge fees on or commissions on transactions. Some brokers charge a fixed fee of about 1.5% on every transaction that you do. So whether you are selling or buying shares, they will charge you that percentage. And they differ in terms of their cost model. So it's just important to check them out and find out that question, because it's really important to know how they charge or how they make their money, what's in it for them. Yeah.
So it is important as an investor to basically understand and be
Yeah.
aware of those commission costs and fees. Huh?
Yes, it's really, really important, because if you don't know how much the broker is charging you, you might actually find that it's eating into your return on your investment that you are intending to make. So even as we talk about brokers, we've got quite a number of brokers in Zambia. You will find a whole list of them listed on the LUCE, as well as the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission. There's a list of brokers that we have in Zambia. Find out from them how they charge, or how you pay for their services, in other words.
All right. And now let's transition to brokerage accounts specifically.
Yeah.
What exactly is a brokerage account?
Now, this is our area of interest, Leslie. If you want to buy shares on the LUCE, you cannot do it directly yourself. The regulatory requirement is that you need to do it through a broker. And these brokers play a lot of functions. They've got a lot of responsibilities to check, your status, whether you are legally, can participate in buying and selling shares. They do what is referred to as your KYC, know your client. And they also they facilitate transactions. If you want to buy shares in a company listed on the stock exchange, you will have to go through the broker. And that is what a brokerage account is. It is simply an investment account. It's not like a bank account. I know many people, when they hear account, whenever there's a word that has account on it, they always think it's a bank account where you have to put money and worry about all bank fees and charges. So a brokerage account is an investment account that, yes, you will need to fund in order for you to transact, but it's specifically for making investments. And it's not like a savings account where you just deposit money and hope that it's going to grow. An investment account is where you set aside money to make investments. So let's say you've identified a company you'd like to buy shares in that is listed on the LUCE. Through the broker, you will have to transfer some funds and then buy those shares. Sometimes you may operate, or you may use the LUCE app, which I hope we can find time to talk about, Leslie, as well. The LUCE app is an app that enables you to trade, to buy and sell shares. So even on the LUCE app, you will still need to deposit some funds, which will later or on be transferred to your broker, and then you can buy and sell shares or even bonds if you're trading them on the secondary market. So it's really a very important account for all of us to have as investors, and for beginners, particularly those that are interested in attending our online training course, which we are offering next month on the 16th and 17th. Leslie, I must say, I received a lot of phone calls last week. Thank you so much for all those that called me, particularly those from Southern Province. I received very interesting calls from Mazabuka, from Choma, and Livingstone. It was so interesting. And so thank you so much. For those that want to attend this online training course that Inside Partners is offering, because our aim is to ensure that you invest your first kwachas. So you will need a brokerage account. That is why this program today is very essential. You need to find a broker and create a brokerage account that will facilitate the transaction for you to buy shares on the LUCE. So that is what the brokerage account is. I hope it's clear, Leslie.
That's what it's clear. So it's a specialized account just for investing.
Yes. Do you have one?
Banking. Yes, I do. So what are the typical steps involved though in opening a brokerage account?
So it actually depends on the broker, but the general ones, once you find the list of brokers, you select one. And then they will give you an application form. What I must say you need to have in advance is your NRC, a copy of your NRC, a copy of your 2 passport size photos, a copy of your TPIN certificate as well. Those are required in order for you to open this brokerage account. And also, when the broker is opening the account for you, this is very important to note and distinguish. You will have what is referred to as a CSD account for shares. So we have like 2 kinds of CSD accounts. One is called the Central Securities Depository, which is for bonds. And then when the broker opens the account for you, they're opening another CSD account for you that is referred to as Central Shares Depository. So it's like a record for all your investments in shares. So take note of that as you open your brokerage account. The 2 CSD accounts are different. One is for trading bonds, the other one is for trading shares. Just take note of that. So it's a simple process. And in terms of how long it takes for you to have the account active, it depends on the broker. For me, my broker took about 2 weeks to open the account for me. And once your brokerage account is active, you can now utilize the LUCE app as well. The LUCE app is an app that enables you to trade in shares, so to buy and sell shares. And you cannot use that LUCE app. I know we've received quite a number of questions on the LUCE app. You cannot utilize it without the broker. So whatever you are doing, even if you are buying and selling shares through the LUCE app, it is actually being transacted, or it is being transferred to your broker, and transactions are also occurring from your broker's end. So it's really, really important to know that you can't just download the LUCE app without having this brokerage account. I hope those that are interested in attending our workshop are listening. This is a prerequisite for you to attend our training, our online training, which we are holding next month. It's serious business, Leslie. I'm interested in people that really want to invest their money in shares and bonds. So this brokerage account is a must.
Definitely. And the online workshop is definitely a must as well, because these are things you sort of have to start learning. We want, Zambians to start thinking about these things. It looks very complicated because we're talking about it on radio now. But if you really do want to, enter, it's a different club, the investing club. And these are people who have generational wealth. That's how you create the type of wealth that goes from family to family, because this is the type of wealth that is passable. You pass it from family to family. It's not like houses where they come and grab them. It's passed from family to family. I can't say much more, but now let's talk about some of the key benefits that brokerage accounts provide in Zambia. Why should listeners consider opening one?
Well, other than the fact that it's a regulatory requirement for you to have this account to trade in shares and bonds on the LUCE, there are a few other advantages depending on what broker you've selected. One thing you should be asking your broker is to find out what other information they give you on the companies that you want to invest in. A good broker will give you financial reports of companies that are listed on the LUCE that you can analyze and make decisions in terms of where to invest in. Some international brokers, Leslie, have what are referred to as investment softwares or platforms that enable you to even check the performance of the shares and bonds. Unfortunately, in Zambia, our brokers don't have such kind of softwares, which is why the LUCE app comes in. So I'm hoping that in future, our brokers are actually going to start investing in platforms that are able to give us real-time information on the companies that are listed on the LUCE. That way, it adds an advantage for investors to open brokerage accounts with them. So at the moment, facilitation of trade, and if you can find a broker that is able to give you analytical information that you can actually use to analyze the performance of the companies listed on the LUCE, that is a great advantage. Yes, Leslie.
Okay. Now this looks like it's about the ability to diversify rather than having all your money in one place or investment. But what other benefits do brokerage accounts provide?
You've actually touched on that. So you know when you are investing, when you're an investor, you are looking out to diversify your investments. So having a brokerage account will help you to start making diversified investments. Let's say in shares, you might have, because it's easy for you to buy bonds from the primary market, from the BOZ, and that the story ends there. But in order for you to also diversify your investment portfolio, you will need to buy a few shares. And therefore, the brokerage account enables you to buy shares from the LUCE. And that way, you are actually diversifying your investment portfolio as an investor. And we know that to diversify your investment is simply to spread the risk so that you don't expose yourself to a particular investment risk, but you can actually spread risks across different assets. And so, having this brokerage account helps you to do that. But also, Leslie, just having this brokerage account inspires you to be an active investor, because you know that I've got this account with this broker. Let me see if I can buy a few shares. It becomes easier for you to trade in shares or bonds because you know the account is already active, unlike if you don't have an account at all. So for me, I think it's also a motivation for you to just get started and start investing.
Definitely, it's somewhere to. The idea is to get started. Now these are all excellent benefits we've
Yeah,
spoken about. But are there any downsides or risks that investors need to consider before opening a brokerage account?
certainly. Before I can talk, I think we spoke about the commissions and fees. If your broker is not clear with you in terms of what's in it for them, you might find that you are paying a lot of money in terms of commissions to the brokers. So I think it's really important to ask all the questions that you have to the broker so that you understand how they get paid. But also in terms of investing, there's quite a lot of lingo language in investing. If you look at the LUCE app itself, you'll find that when you're trying to buy shares, you'll find words like time and force that just sound like a lot of I don't know, Greek or French. And so Inside Partners is offering an online training program on the 16th and 17th of May, which you can attend if you want to become an active investor. And this is not just for listeners who find this program entertaining, but actual real investors. We are trying to see if we can get real investors on the LUCE as well as investors in bonds through the Bank of Zambia. So it's 16th and 17th. Leslie, on the 16th, our focus is on getting investors to invest in government bonds. And so we are going to help our potential prospective investors to open CSD accounts and also buy their first bond. On the 17th, our focus is on shares. We want to spend whatever amount of money we have, 1,000, 5,000 kwacha, 10,000 kwacha, to buy shares. And we're going to, analyze companies, show you how to analyze companies and see how you can buy shares. and how you can use the Luce Hub to buy and sell shares. It's not just about buying shares. Some active traders also sell regularly in order for them to make profits. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a profit. So we're also going to show you how you can sell your investments in shares so that you can make a return on your investment. So for those that are interested in joining this training program, you can contact me. It's 0977 44 56 04. 0977 44 56 04. And I'm really excited because for the first time we are going to get active investors straight from the training program, and then we're going to start monitoring our investments going forward and building on our investment skills and techniques as we become active investors, Leslie.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is actually quite exciting.
Yeah.
And this, I feel like this is what Luce Bank of Zambia should be doing, encouraging
Yeah.
people and teaching people how to work with investments on the Luce, as well as working with bonds and treasury bills and so on and so forth.
But that's why we are also there, Leslie. I mean, we're not going to wait for BOZ or Luce. You and I are here to make Zambians wealthy.
Definitely. Mukonki, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you so much, and good morning, dear listeners.
All right, this has been the Ndalama Insights radio show. And of course, if you missed it, remember you can catch Mukonki as well on YouTube. Simply search for Mukonki Mukonkela, and you can ask us questions and anything else you want to from that YouTube account. My name is Leslie. This has been the Ndalama Insights show.